Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, December 9, 2024, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call this week, Wednesday night, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about money. Really doesn't matter if we are conscious human beings or not. The mind is constantly judging ourselves, other people, this world, and anything that it can get a hold of. It was born with this master-like judgeaholic power. It can judge anything in milliseconds. You may not have realized this, yet probably in the last 15 minutes, your mind passed 10 judgments on yourself, someone else, or something in the world around us as either good or bad. The judgmental mind is perpetually busy working away at labeling life. Why do you think we have so many names and labels? And this workaholic is a slippery gremlin to catch. We are so accustomed to the mind judging everything in this life. It's as if we've been literally sitting in a pool of water forever, not realizing that our skin was falling off. So what is really? Judgment is the mind labeling something in this life as either good or bad, but not both. It is a one-sided viewpoint of existence which separates and divides. Interestingly, judgment manifests only when we are living up in the head and are disconnected from our hearts. When we are living from the heart, the mind cannot judge. Isn't that interesting? How come so many people aren't in the heart? This occurs because the heart is free from duality, and the mind can only exist in duality, seeing black and white. The heart cannot get hooked in whatever the mind believes is only good or only bad. And when the heart is leading the way, we are free from the perpetual prison of the judging mind. Doesn't it make sense that we would focus on heart-mindedness? Because we all know what ego-mindedness is. We've been immersed in it for thousands of lifetimes. Why would we continue to repeat that? Repeat ego mind. Every lifetime, ego mind, ego mind, ego mind, ego mind. I mean, I would believe that all of us are masters, at least, of having the ego mind master us, guide us, direct us. And I believe that it's coming because of the frequencies that have been accelerated, higher, positive, more light energy frequencies. This is why we're gravitating towards heart-mindedness. We're not in ego-mindedness, really. We are, but excuse me. But most of the time, we're finding ourselves more and more in heart-mindedness, where the ego doesn't exist, the mind doesn't exist, which then allows us to watch the ego mind and how it operates, and learn from it, so that we can master it, and so that we can direct it in positive ways rather than negative, it directing us. It's the only way for us to master the ego mind, through the heart mind. And the heart mind is much powerful than the ego mind. And the heart is a doorway It's not just a muscle beating, pumping blood. It's a doorway to Creator, to Source, to the God, which is you. So when you look at the fact that we perceive physicality, we perceive physical material life. And it's very seductive and it's very enticing because of the fact, even though we take it for granted. We take it for granted getting up every morning. We take it for granted on everything that we do. Right? It's just kind of like that's the way it is. So, and we forget about how phenomenal it is. Maybe if we were able to, step out of the body, okay, while it's at rest, and then kind of go around and see what it's like not to be in body. I think that would wake up a lot of people. And when you're just kind of looking around during the course of your day and you're watching things and interacting, that you feel that judgment thing come in, don't you? You feel it comes in, and you want to say something about something or some being, right? You want to say it because it comes in, but then you say, no, thank you. And you let it pass through you. Now, it keeps coming, of course, right? So you go, no, thank you. Dropping out of the head and into the heart. What does that do? Well, it quiets the mind. We quiet the mind, we become very still. It's like in these meditations. You find a comfortable place. You have no outside interruption. You relax into your body. You're as still as a statue, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. I give you a wide range of information during the guidance. You choose information that resonates with you. And since it's such a broad spectrum, something is going to resonate with you. Now, from the space that we're in meditation, we can watch our minds closely. And we can see just how slick its judgmental habit is. We can see how it tends to avoid what it deems as scary. And the mind often believes that if I get what I want, this is good, and then I will be happy. And if I get what I don't want, this is bad, and then I will be unhappy. It's pretty simple. The more enlightenment path, however, is comprehending that in this great, divine, supreme, all-intelligent universe, we're going to get it all. We always get what we want and what we don't want. You could all of a sudden have a whole truckload of money. It's great, right? Exciting, wonderful. And then there's the other side. I said, how am I going to manage it, protect myself? How am I going to do all this? Those are things that we don't care to have. When you say the vibrational frequency of anything, whatever it may be in your life, and you say to yourself, or out, verbally out, you don't want something, that you don't want that to happen, right? You catch yourself and say, no, I don't care for that to take place. You'll feel the difference in the frequencies. You really will. But most of us, you could be talking with someone, and I would guarantee you in the course of that conversation, at least a half a dozen times, they would say what they don't want. You could count it. It's amazing. I've had conversations with people 15, 20, 30 times. They said they kept saying what they didn't want. Do you feel that vibrational frequency? And then when you say, I don't care for that to happen, I don't care to have that, it's a different vibrational frequency. And it's the frequencies and the words that we use often vibrate to attract. And the universe says, okay, here you go. That's what happens. Now, are we aware of that? Nah, not really. Some of us start to say, wait a minute, something's a little skewed here. You know, you said you didn't want this, and yet there it is. And you start correlating, and you start saying, there might be something to this. Everything that we manifest, okay, there's always something, I call it spice, that shifts things. You might have something or get something, right? And you've laid it out. It's the way it's going to be. Yet then you start discovering things about whatever it is that you never knew that weren't that great. You ever done that? You say, wow, this isn't as great as I thought it would be. You know, this is going on over here, and this is happening here. This already broke. It's why is it that way? It's more entertaining. If we only had, you know, marshmallowy clouds in this life, we would become very bored. We really would. We'd be like slugs in the mud. We wouldn't be exciting. It wouldn't be exciting for us. But see, the correlation here is that the majority of us don't know that this life is temporary. We know that we're going to end up leaving, okay, eventually. We don't put much time on it until the body starts communicating things to us and directing our attention to it. But it's kind of strange because we do know that eventually we will leave the body, right? But we don't pay attention to it. And sometimes, if we were only to focus on the now, all that stuff would fade out. One might say, well, you can't plan, and you can't do this, and you can't do that if all you do is spend in the now, time in the now. But how are you going to master the ego mind? How are you going to master your thoughts? You sure as heck aren't going to do it in yesterday and tomorrow. You won't ever do it in yesterday and tomorrow. You could have 100,000 lifetimes. If you're in yesterday and tomorrow, you never even come close to it. So how are you going to get from point A to point B? Meditation. This allows us to go into the now, which we're aware of, and then we go into the now and we focus on what? Breath rising and falling. We just be. And then we can watch the ego mind and we can start comprehending how it works, why it does the way it does, and start mastering it by leaving it alone. And then as we master it, we start liking being in peace. In meditation, you're in peace. You don't have any of the ego mind stuff, you know, worried about tomorrow, worried about yesterday, stress, anxiety. That's where it all is. That's where it all is. Now, a lot of us would look at meditation and say, oh, it's boring. You know, I don't know why people do it. It's kind of stupid. And they will be the ones that will keep reincarnating and just not get it. Maybe they get it, maybe in a couple more lifetimes. Now, challenge yourself, right? You say, I challenge myself to see if I can find a single situation, being, or a thing of this world that is only 100% positive and does not also have the tiniest hidden negative byproduct within it. Now, when you think you found something, like a new flower budding on an amazing sunset, we all know it. You just wait and investigate it a bit longer, as both sides will eventually show, and there is always another side to the coin. And as the flower will one day wither away and the amazing sunset colors fade into the darkness, we always get both. Does a rose have smooth stems? No. And where we start with this is within ourselves. This is where we start. This is where it's at, within ourselves. Period. Not out there. A lot of us will go out there and say, it's not judging ourselves. It's not being hard on ourselves. It's not ridiculing, criticizing ourselves. It's going deeper and deeper within and discovering more and more and more about who and what we are. This other stuff out there is just entertainment. It does distract us. We do get distracted. All of us. None of us are exempt from it. So when you start looking deeper into yourself and accept any judgments you may have, there's a ton of them. People have just a ton of judgments on themselves. I'm too fat, too short, too ugly. They're too poor, too dumb, too smart, and it goes on and on and on. Too much in their head. So you welcome all the judgments you have about yourself, and you don't reject, avoid, or judge them. You just let them pass by. See them for what they are. They are one-sided judgments that you have about you. And when you can truly see and welcome the judgment, it will have less energy and magnetic pull on you. In a matter of minutes, the contracting hard feeling around the judgmental thought will lessen, drop into stillness, and you will become truly free from it. You're not ignoring this stuff. You're not ignoring it, turning your back on it. But you're not participating in it. You welcome it, say hello, and it passes on by. Because we do realize that that's a huge thing here on this planet. Judgment. It's massive. So we welcome the process as it goes. The secret is moving totally into the experience of judging. When you consciously are feeling only one side of the judgment, awareness grows in you. You cannot fall into that old judgment again so easily next time. You can see just how it impacts your mind, emotions, and heart. When you remain in one-sided experience of life deeply and fully for a long time, something inside of you will tire. And then the judgment pendulum just swings to the other side. For example, you may say, you may feel it and say it, that you are never good enough, that you cannot do anything right. I've heard people say this so many times. And after welcoming that judgment and feeling for maybe 5, 10, or even 20 minutes, something in you will exhaust itself, release the contraction, and wake up. This smaller, more enlightened aspect inside you will sneak in and perceive that on some level, you are doing everything right. And you are totally good enough. When you welcome judgment, the judgment pendulum soon swings, and this allows you to know what perfect peace feels like. Now, some people may think that always welcoming and acknowledging both the good and the bad in this life is just some boring, fatalistic, nihilistic, uncreative path that only leads to a state of apathy. Actually, quite the contrary is true. By learning to accept and welcome it all, we find that we are truly okay with everything that is and feel a more spacious quality within ourselves. We feel we have more time to develop our ability to expand consciousness, relax into our lives. This is what we're doing. We keep expanding our consciousness, our awareness. First about ourselves, about who and what we are, and discovering many different aspects of that. When we're constantly expanding our consciousness, becoming more aware of who and what we are, increasing our vibrational frequencies. First, maybe not, I'm going to increase my vibrational frequency type, but subconsciously, you're increasing it. You've chosen not to be frustrated with yourself, angry with yourself. These are things that it's up to us. You decide. Why would I spend all this time being frustrated and angry with myself? It's kind of kooky, isn't it? When, on the other hand, we could be focused on who and what we are. And then all these things, these thoughts, which are all illusions, thoughts of fear, thoughts of anxiety, worry, stress, all of that stuff, they're all illusions. And they're all created by the mind, the ego mind. Now, when you're in peace and heart-mindedness, none of that. You don't have worry, stress, fear, anxiety. You don't have any of it. You don't have the mind chatter, the noise. Thousands and thousands of thoughts hitting you every day and then replaying themselves. See, it's by our choice and the power that we are. We are omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting beings, supreme manifesting and abundant beings. It's what we are. Now you wouldn't know that. Someone would say, well, what are you talking about? Then everybody on this planet should be happy, wealthy, and healthy. And that's true. That statement's true. But you got to discover it. It's not given to you on a silver platter. You got to discover it. Many of us won't. We'll leave the body and come into another one. These bodies aren't that easy to get, by the way. And so, eventually, obviously, everyone will. They'll all become discoverers and pioneers of themselves. And then comprehend the fact is that we're here to do what? Enjoy this life. We're here to enjoy it. Why would we create such a vast playground if we weren't here to enjoy it? It's not like we sit here as gods and say, hey, let's create a planet that is filled with massive challenges. And let's throw an ego mind into the body and all these things. And on top of it, let's have it so that we never have a memory every time we come into a body. That's crazy, isn't it? That means we're on this like treadmill. You ever feel like you're on a hamster wheel or treadmill and and sometimes you say to yourself, it seems like you're never getting anywhere, right? Just no matter what you do. It just seems like, wow, this is like, why am I expending all this energy? Till you realize that the trickery and the tomfoolery that the ego mind is playing is this constant circle redundancy. This is why most of us on this planet live our lives in a circle. We do. We live our lives in a circle. We don't, as these bodies age, we don't go outside. Well, we do in the beginning. We do go outside of it quite a bit. But as these bodies get older, we get less and less and less adventurous. We take less and less and less risks. So we atrophy. And as we atrophy, we become less and less and less motivated to ever step outside our circle. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now, do we know this? Do we do it intentionally? No. Not at all. We get in the habit of many things that we really don't look at. And then we're going along. You ever gone along in this life, and then you say, things are kind of boring, and they're, you're doing the same thing every day, and then you shoot out a thought. You're not really, it's there, it's fleeting, and you shoot this thought out to the universe. Next thing you know, boom, you have challenge. Boom, something happens. Most of us don't look for the solution, right, of the problem. So what's the problem? Then you get to the point where you say, I don't have any problems. They never stay around long enough to become problems. I'm kind of like the janitor of the ego mind's crap. And so I focus on getting rid of the crap before it takes hold and starts to master me. Does it work all the time? No, it doesn't work all the time. The point is practice. And we focus on that. We move more into peace and harmony, contentment, confidence, trust, all of that in a peaceful state. Aren't you in a hurry? Some people in a hurry. Most people are in a hurry. You say to them, why are you in a hurry? They're not in a hurry. And some get defensive at that, Why do you say that? Well, you seem to be like you're in a hurry. You got are you in a race? You're going to win something, or you're going to cross a finish line somewhere in life? And just slow down. You ever notice that as these bodies get older and older, and we're fortunate enough to stay in them long enough, you ever notice how people begin to move slower? This is a great teaching that most of us let pass us by. Okay? To give you an example. This happens a lot to people. Okay? You're on the road, you're traveling, you're behind the wheel of your vehicle, and you could be in town, could be in your town, and you're going somewhere. And you get behind somebody. Speed limit might be, 45, right? And they're going 20. And you, for some reason, are in a hurry to get nowhere. This happens a lot, all over our country, all over the world. And it happens when you have, you've got to get somewhere, okay? And you might be running a little late. So that rush thing comes in. None of us are exempt from it. It comes in, we get in a hurry, we got to get there. And then you go, lo and behold, you get behind an older being behind the wheel of their vehicle. Like you're going 45 and they're going 20. And then you start expressing yourself on how ridiculous, how can they be driving? How can they be doing that? They shouldn't even be on the road. And of course, they're not budging. You're right on their rear end. Oh, just hoping that they'll, pull over or speed up. And you get more and more frustrated. And then you get to your destination. And what do you say? I got behind an old person and they were going, oh yeah, we've all experienced that. Boom. But it teaches us something. What does it teach us? Slow down. We're in such a hurry. We got, it's like everybody's in a hurry. Look at how fast time goes to begin with. Why would we be in a hurry? Most of us are. And when we rush through life, we damage the soul. Believe it or not. We're not meant to be in a hurry. Not meant to be in a race. It's not our natural state of being. That's why it freaks so many people out, stresses so many people out. Because they're in a hurry. Look at the holidays. Look at people. They want to please somebody. They want to get something for somebody. They want to do this. How about a smile? Right? How about a hug? Well, that sounds kind of cheesy. But that's what this is all about anyway. Loving ourselves, loving each other throughout this life. Now, getting there is another thing. To that, the only way you're going to get there is through meditation and focusing on mastering the ego mind, having the heart-mind master over the ego mind, and master your thoughts. This is the great shift. This is the most massive spiritual shift in the history of the 60 billion years that this planet has existed. That's huge. It's massive. So in the quiet time of this meditation, focus on one thing. You, at total peace with yourself and everything else. Completely. As you focus on the breath rising and falling, as you are relaxed into the body, you have no outside interference, and you're as still as a statue. Join in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into the body, fully focused on your breath rising and falling. Something quite divine occurs when you stop focusing on your separate self and let your mind merge and melt into the vast ocean of existence. There's a great sea of atoms, quarks, and quantum energy that creates this soup of consciousness for you to bathe in. So take off your clothes, dive right in. Just notice how the wet, cooling qualities of the entire ocean can be found within a single drop. The greatest illusion that you can participate in is that you are just a single drop of this ocean, and that you are not also this entire ocean itself. Do not live another day in illusion. Realize that we are all deeply connected with everyone and everything on the most subtle of levels. When you focus your mind for hours on this ocean of pure conscious energy that truly knows no separation, you will discover bliss, my friend. Feels so amazing to be merging, melting, and totally surrendering to existence. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, December 10, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.